From the start of the year, I've been playing franchise with my Chicago White Sox on the new Streamlined mode. Now, after that first season is complete, I'm taking full control. This is a continuation of that series, picking up where we left off after the first season playing Streamlined, but it's also a fresh start. This is going to be a very different experience, being in control of everything and not being limited to just playing critical situations. So I decided to treat it like a fresh start. We're calling this episode 1, taking full control of this White Sox franchise. So for anybody who might be new with this being episode 1, or maybe you're coming back for the first time in a while, let me very quickly bring you guys back up to speed with where we're at after year 1 with this White Sox team. We finished our first season 68-94. We were also doing really solid up through June. We were only a couple of games below 500. We were keeping our head above water, and then the wheels fell off in July and we just couldn't recover from there. We kept losing more games than we were winning from then on, and that's how we finished with as bad of a record as we did. But it wasn't all negative. We saw some good seasons. We saw some good development. Our best player last season was Kyle Teal. He batted over 300, almost a 900 OPS. He finished with a 6 wins above replacement. Colson Montgomery also had a standout year for us. He hit over 30 home runs, had a 4.8 WAR season. And then on the pitching side, it was Sean Burke who might have established himself as our ace with a 3.13 ERA, and he was nails for like the second half of the season. We also had a solid season out of the bullpen. We had solid years out of guys like Chase Mydroth. Murakami also not quite what he was in real life, but still turned in a solid rookie year. So we have some building blocks going into year 2. And we started the process of building on that last season. We made a couple of trades at the deadline. I added Denzel Clark. He's going to be our starting center fielder for the foreseeable future. Elite defense, B potential. He's young. He's got a lot of room to improve. And then the other big trade I made is with the Yankees. I added Clark Schmidt, who's going to be a really solid addition to this year's team. But then I also got Elmer Rodriguez from the Yankees. He's a 66 overall right now with B potential, but he's listed as a relief pitcher. He has 77 stamina. I'm going to be changing him to a starting pitcher. That alone should boost him up to about a 73 overall. He should be a big time piece to our rotation moving forward. We also had a couple of really solid draft picks, and speaking of big pieces to our rotation moving forward, our best draft pick was Jeff Chandler. I got him in the second round of the draft. He's got A potential as an 18-year-old. He's the number 2 prospect in all of baseball. But that wasn't even my first overall pick. My first pick was Johnny Bench. Doesn't have a whole lot to live up to with that name, but he's 19 years old. He's a 73 overall to start with B potential, switch hitter. He is almost ready to go right now if I wanted to start him in the big leagues, but I'm not going to do that. But between what this team has and what we added, I think year 2 could be a really exciting season of this rebuild. Going into this offseason, the 3 players who I have absolutely no intention of replacing is Kyle Teal, Colson Montgomery, and then Denzel Clark in center field. Also, Murakami and Chase Mydroth are pretty much locked in for this upcoming season. I don't necessarily see them as long-term guys like the other 3, but heading into year 2, no reason really to look to replace them. So what we are looking for in this offseason is new corner outfielders, a new third baseman, and then a new DH, or some type of extra player to create a DH platoon, whatever that would entail. On the pitching side, I'm pretty set on Shane Smith, Clark Schmidt, and Sean Burke being in the rotation. I would like to get replacements for Davis Martin and Jonathan Cannon, and I don't fully think that Noah Schultz or Hagen Smith or Drew Thorpe are ready to go. Al Triola was another guy I just drafted, but he's only 18, so I want to give him time in the minors. So 2 starting pitchers would also be what we're looking for in this offseason, and then relievers will just kind of happen. We have some players in the system that I would feel fine starting next season with on the big league squad, but if we could add a couple of relievers, a couple solid arms out there, that would also be very nice. So that's where we are, and that's the plan heading forward into this first offseason. I have been so excited to get into this offseason, guys. Finishing up on Streamlined took way longer than it should have. And I'm just looking to put that in the rearview mirror. That's kind of a lot of the reason too why I decided to make this technically kind of a new series with a new playlist. And before we get going, before we get progressing through the days here, there's a couple of things that I want to do, a couple adjustments I want to make. So we're just going to go ahead and make it official right now. We are going to transform Elmer Rodriguez into a starting pitcher. Let's see what he becomes here. He's a 74. I told you guys. He has the same attributes, so it's not like he technically got better. It's just starting pitchers overalls are weighted differently. And then the other one I've been talking about doing is David Sandlin. I don't think this is going to be as crazy, but if Elmer went up 8, David Sandlin would go up to a 65, which still not crazy, but a 65 overall C potential is a lot more appealing to look at. He's a 64. Another thing I want to do in preparation here, Kyle Teel has a secondary position of left field, but something got messed up when they were making this game and making Kyle Teel's ratings. They gave him no reaction. That's kind of unusable in left field if we ever wanted to take advantage of that secondary position. I said I was gonna just put them all at 50, but I came up with a bit more of a fun idea. Instead of just putting them at 50 by default, I am going to generate a random number between 40 and 75, and then that's going to be his reaction rating. So let's just start with reaction left here. 42. All right, great start. So he'll have a 42 reaction going to his left. To his right, he'll have a 54. Coming in forward, he'll have a 43. And then going back on the ball, he will have a 71. All right. So, all right, then. Those are Kyle Teel's new reaction ratings. If we ever decide to play him in left field, could have gone a little better there. We could have gotten a little luckier. And then I also wanted to adjust some secondary positions. Again, there really isn't a built-in mechanism to like develop somebody in a secondary position. I think that'd be kind of fun, but I think maybe a good rule for that for me is just if I want to add a secondary position to someone, I got to do it in the off season. I just want to add first base to Jacob Gonzalez down to the minors. He already has the rest of the infield as a secondary, so I'll just list him as infield then. And then I also wanted to add left field to Antonacci again, because like that's what he is in real life. But I don't know, the way that secondary positions are handled also is out of date. You can't just pick what secondary positions you want somebody to have. It has to be one of these preset options. So I'm just gonna give him just left field. But kind of along those same lines too, the last one I wanted to do is Caleb Bonham. We've got so many middle infield prospects, and Caleb Bonham I think is going to be really good for us once he develops. So I think while he's young here, we'll start developing him as a corner outfielder. We'll just give him the secondaries of both left and right. I see him more as a left fielder if we were going to use him that way, but we'll just give him both corner outfield spots. And I think we're ready now. We don't have really any exclusive free agents that I want to bring back. Literally, the only two are Fetty and Lucas Sims. They are walking. I don't need to bring them back. So we can finally get going here. I think I'm just going to sim straight to when free agency starts, and I can look at who's on the market, which I think is that star on Thursday. So let's do it. Let's sim past Thursday. Free agency is open. Let's give it a look. We're also going to have arbitration to offer contracts to tender, which I'll probably just go ahead and take care of that right away instead of waiting, just so I actually know how much money I have to work with, or at least have a better idea. But I want to take a look at the market first before we do anything else. So right now we have $62.67 million we can spend available in our budget. That might change if I start making trades, like getting rid of a Benintendi contract, stuff like that. So who do we got here? The number one free agent, of course, is Tarek Skubal. He's asking for about $43 million a year. I don't think we'll be in on him. Honestly, Shane Bieber's not bad too. He's an 85 overall. We definitely could look at Shane Bieber. Yeah, that's one to keep our eye on. Jazz could be someone. We are looking for a third baseman. So Jazz is an option. He's also not asking for a ridiculous amount of money either. He has 91 power righties coming off of his second straight 31 homer season. His numbers though overall got better. At third base itself, it's really only Well, I don't even know if I'm interested in Suarez, to be honest. Bohm. Well, Bohm's not asking for much. That could be an interesting long-term guy. Corner outfield, Taylor Ward. Taylor Ward might be someone we look after. Right now, if I had to fill up my big board, if I wanted to take some big swings, I'm looking at Taylor Ward, Jazz Chisholm, and Shane Bieber. I think I'm just going to add those three for now. Let's just add the big ones early on here in free agency so I can give myself the best chance at the best players that I'm actually interested in. But all we can really do here is add them to this board and then move on. Can't offer him anything yet. We don't know how interested any of these guys are. But yeah, I think that's going to be the plan for this first week. Go for the big guys. And then I guess I got a lot of busy work here to do. Probably take care of all these tendering contracts and just like cut back when that's over. All right, I just got done with some renewables. I actually didn't decide to renew everybody right away. I figured I'll wait on them, and if plans fall through and we don't end up spending as much money on free agency, maybe it'd be worth it to lock some of these guys up. But then I also didn't renew some other guys here, like guys that are on the 40-man that I don't know if I want to like renew their contract when I don't know if they're going to stay on the 40-man, because we might need to make some room on the 40-man. We definitely are going to have to make some room on the 40-man actually. And we have arbitration, which again, I don't know though, looking at this, is Schmidt the only one? Probably Herget and probably Vargas. I'll probably still offer Vargas arbitration even though he wasn't good, but his first year of arbitration should be cheap. All right, well, it says here that Clark Schmidt would be looking for $13.3 million if I just tried to straight up sign him. But yeah, I don't plan on signing Clark Schmidt. I also plan on shopping him if we're not in contention around the deadline. So I'm definitely going to offer him arbitration. Last year, he's only making 4.5 mil. So that's the other thing. By stats, like he probably doesn't earn an over 100% raise from last year to this year, but I also don't know, is a lot of that raise just because it's the last year of arbitration? Is that just how baseball works? Or is it based on real life performance and the seasons before? Because if he was a $4.5 million player last year, then based on this year, he probably should be getting paid right around the same amount, but based on what he'd be asking for, even doing $5 million, a $500K raise for him, that would not seem like I would win that arbitration hearing. Maybe 5.5. Maybe we'll just do $1 million raise. I mean, we're gonna have him next season one way or another. It's not like this is a risk that we lose him, but we'll try it. We'll see it. We'll see how this works. Let's submit that. I feel like I told myself when I was sitting down here, like, all right, we don't need this off season to go for super long. I have a tendency to just ramble, but boy, it feels like we really haven't gotten anywhere, and I still don't want to go anywhere yet. I want to start exploring some trades, but honestly, I'm really still liking the idea of Nathan Lucas. I don't know if it would take another throw-in flyer prospect for them to want to do this, but I'm at least gonna start by just straight up offering Davis Martin for Nathan Lucas. I'm just going to put that offer in right now. But yeah, we've got to sim a full week to see anything about free agents. We should get some feedback on the Lucas trade proposal before that. I mean, it should be like maybe even within a day after simming. So let's sim a day. We got him. All right, that is all it took. Straight up, Davis Martin for Nathan Lucas. 75 overall for 75 overall. They fill a need, we fill a need, mutually beneficial trade. I love it. And you know what I'm going to do right away is I'm going to add a secondary position of right field, because honestly with his skill set it makes too much sense. He's got a strong arm. It's really all you look for in a right fielder, right? All right, though, I do just want to get to the next week with free agency before I start offering some other trades. Ooh, we got, okay. Well, maybe I shouldn't have put off some trades, because big trade going down here, and those could have been two players I would have been interested in. Let's keep going though. Let's get to this next block of free agency. See who's interested. Oh, okay. Shane Bieber is only 18% interested. Taylor Ward is the highest interest at 39, which isn't great. Jazz is only just above 30. Yeah, these aren't that great. I also think I'm going to take some time looking at the trade block, because when I was preparing things to set up the trade targets, other teams hadn't like filled out their trade blocks yet, but now it looks like the trade blocks are filled. Mason Miller on the trade block. But yeah, I'm probably going to take a break myself, look at some things, and then when I come back, I don't know, the window behind me might be closed, it might be dark, or never mind, it's just the next day instead. Or is it 2 days? Might have been 2 days ago. But I gave some things a look over, and there is some things I want to do. I want to put some trades in before we do any more simulating. Because, yeah, this time next week, by the next free agency thing, we have to make a decision on our 40-man roster. And we do have a pretty full 40-man roster. We only have one spot available right now. But I looked through the trade blocks, looked through what some interesting guys would be to acquire. So I'm going to put in some offers here, kind of 2 birds, 1 stone, improve our team and hopefully discard some 40-man roster guys. So it was 3 moves I wanted to try and put in right away. The first one is actually going to be with our crosstown rival, the Chicago Cubs. It's not a big one though. Don't worry. It's not a blockbuster, but they've got BJ Murray on the trade block. He is 27 with no major league experience, and he's only a 70 overall C potential, but he's a switch hitter. He also had a really solid progression last year. He went up +5. I want to try and send them. Now, I don't think this one's going to go through, but I'm going to attempt to see if I can pawn off Benintendi. I really doubt it. If this doesn't go through, I'm thinking of offering Kelnick. They really need a left fielder. Dylan Carlson at a 65 is the best they have right now. And then the second guy I'm offering up is William Bergoya. They also have a really big need at second base, but I don't know. He could be like a bridge type player. Again, I don't think this one will go through with Benintendi. We can make a different offer. If we can get Benintendi off the books, huge. So let's give it a try. This second one is where it starts to get exciting. The Brewers have a lot of relief pitchers on their trade block, but the one I'm focusing in on is Aaron Ashby. He's coming off of a 2.67 ERA season. The strikeouts seemed a little down, but yeah, I mean, a 5-pitch mix, lefty reliever. We need lefty relievers, 94 clutch. And the big thing is we don't even have to worry about arbitration with him. He's just locked up for the next 3 years at 4.1 mil a year. And I am going to try and get rid of Miguel Vargas for him. I'm not doing this straight up though. I'm gonna try and take this Robert Beal dude. Only a 52 overall, but lefty. He's already good versus righties. He could develop into a solid piece. I like reverse split. So I'm gonna send off this offer. And then I don't know, man, if they say you shouldn't trade with the Brewers, you definitely shouldn't trade with this next team that I'm about to try and make a trade with. It's the Tampa Bay Rays. But I did have Ryan Pepio on my target list going into this offseason. It did end up on the trade block. He's 29. He'll have 2 years left of team control, 2 years of arbitration. And last season, he was solid, not great by any means, but a 4.19 ERA, 172 innings. But he's also kind of got the reverse splits, really high hits per 9 versus lefties. Now for him, again, I'm going to try and anchor it with a deal I don't really think would go through, but they really need starting pitching, especially if they're giving up Pepio. I don't have any plans on Cannon being part of the team going forward, so we'll offer them Canning. I'm also going to offer them Duncan Davitt. He's on the 40-man. Probably doesn't need to be. And then I could stop there. Let me add in Pepio, but I could stop there, but I'm going to try and offload some more money. Again, I don't anticipate this one to go through. The only one that I actually think has, or the one I should say has the best chance of going through, in my opinion, of these 3 is the Vargas one. But if all these go through, we'll be freeing up, what, 3 40-man spots? And then I was going to make a change here with Bieber not being very interested. I thought about just leaving him off, but I'm going to throw Morahone on there just to see if he has any interest. All right, but let's get back to it then. We don't have any free agency stuff we need to do, so we can head on to the next week. Can't do anything until the next week, so let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. The Cubs took it. All right. Could not have asked for a better deal. I did not care about giving up Bergoya. Benintendi off the books is huge. Bringing in BJ Murray, who could be a legitimately solid first baseman. We do have responses from all 3 though, so what's the next one looking like? The Vargas one got rejected. Of course it did. Now watch the Rays one get accepted and I'll just be completely wrong. Now that's not true though. It said this proposal does not fit our current needs. Why are you gaslighting me, Brewers? You're asking for a third baseman and a first baseman. Vargas plays He plays third and first. How are you going to tell me that that doesn't align with your needs? That's okay. We can adjust. And then the last one with the Rays, they countered it. They just don't want Hicks. All right. I mean, this was what I was going to offer anyway. And then I just thought maybe maybe I'll try and throw in Hicks and see if they'll take on that money. But yeah, Cannon and Davitt for Pepio. Again, this is two dudes I had no plans on for the future. Again, maybe the Rays could get something out of them with their pitching situation, but for me, it was nothing. And for me, we can add Ryan Pepio, who will be very nice for our rotation this upcoming season. So I am gonna accept this trade. This is gonna be our second major addition in this offseason. We're adding Ryan Pepio to the squad. I did want to look back at the Ashby trade. I so don't understand why they said my offer didn't fit their needs. It does say prospect / young MLB, but I mean, he should qualify as young MLB, right? He's got 3 years of service time, 3 years of team control. Does that not count? I mean, I'm almost tempted to try this. There's a couple of guys who are third baseman with first base secondary. They're both young MLB. I mean, they'd be on renewable deals. Maybe that's what they're looking for. I still kind of want to get this guy though, so just throw him in. And it's rejected again. Still says the proposal does not fit their current needs. I don't get it then. Maybe they're just really valuing. No, because they would say that. Unless their issue was with me adding this Beal dude. I mean, if that's the case, let me just try Harrison Mead then for just Ashby. Sim another day then though, I guess, because there's no other stuff to do. Oh, well, never mind. Now there is something to do. We might not be getting Jazz. Yeah, I'm sure we'll bid out the Yankees and the Dodgers, won't we? I mean, 28% chance, bump it up to 6, it goes to 29. That's not going to happen anyway. And if it does happen, it'll take an extreme amount of luck. So I'll be excited about the luck rather than like wary about giving Jazz that much money if this goes through. I'm going to send this off. 6 years, apparently 24.99 mil because you can't do an exact amount. But let's see. Let's see if we get lucky. Little less than a third of a chance, but a little more than a quarter. What symbol are we looking for? The pen? Pen's good, right? Phone's bad. He's going back to the Yankees. Oh yeah, they blew my offer out of the water. And then this trade gets rejected again. Still says that it doesn't align with their needs. Maybe like young MLB does mean age and doesn't mean service time. So they just want young players, I guess. Well, I mean, would they be interested in Jacob Gonzalez? Well, if Gonzalez is what it takes, I'm prepared to give him up. And then I'm also going to try and throw in Peters, both as a sweetener, but also get rid of a 40-man guy. I don't know if I would need another dude. You know what? I'm going to add Baroa, and then I'm going to try and add that Beal again. So we'll see if we can do this. Free up 2 roster spots on the 40-man in case. Add Ashby, add a young prospect arm, and then the main piece of this deal for them would be Jacob Gonzalez. So we'll see this time. And then you know what, too? Before I forget, I got to offer arbitration to Pepio. Previous year's salary was 3.2, maybe 7.5. I still don't know what I'm doing with these. We'll see. No response from the Brewers after a day. They've been pretty prompt at getting back to me. That maybe is a good sign. Maybe they're thinking about it. Another day. There's a response. They accept that one. All right. Oh, and that was apparently an overpay. Great. I don't know. I don't hate it. We've got plenty of middle infielders. I wasn't super attached to Jacob Gonzalez over some of those other middle infielders. I know I did just add him to the 40-man, but it's not like that matters anymore. And we freed up 2 more spots, and we got a potentially exciting lefty reliever for way down the line. Yeah, even if that was an overpay, which is what they're making it seem, I definitely don't feel like I got fleeced. We'll just be on the lookout for the Prelander Baroa All-Star season. But all right, we've got 40-man roster spots cleared. We've got overall roster spots cleared with 90 players. I think I'm good for a little while. See how free agency starts to play out. Ah, man, Ward 2 in the same week. Are you kidding me? And we don't know who else is going after him. Why? Why, dude? I really don't know if I like this free agent system, guys. It's been a couple of years of this now. I don't think I'm a fan. I'm thinking we try this. Just try 41%, 3 years, 25.29 a year. That would make him the biggest contract ever in White Sox history. So everybody cross your fingers. I also hate how, man, like we went through almost the whole week and none of that interest we would have gained on him applied. We should have gotten, I think it was +7 more interest, but instead we don't get any of that. And we lose 5% because somebody else offered to him first and I couldn't even offer because I wasn't at 50%. Stamp it and send. Maybe we get lucky. This could be our new star player. This is not how this was supposed to go. Yeah, I probably would have done that too. Oh, and Scooble signs with the Cubs. That's awesome. Well, we can't really do anything until this next free agent day, so I'm just going to sim to that, and we'll see what's left on the market then. Morejon's 42% interested, so that would have been the most of the guys that we put. Bohm might make sense. Bohm might be the pivot here, the Jazz replacement, and then a Ward replacement. A Rosarena could be a good pivot. We've also still got Grisham and Varsho. Varsho has the secondary of left. Also, the free agent field is going to expand after teams non-tender some players after the arbitration stuff ends, and then again after the renewables if people are non-tendered there. So like that could be where we look for the platoon type bat. You know what? Let me add Varsho because he's like the bigger deal of the two. So it might be better to learn where I stand with him first. So, all right, let's continue on then. We got a blockbuster. Mason Miller going to the Red Sox. It doesn't seem like it took too much. All right, we're just going to get to the next free agency day then. We didn't have any last chances pop up, so that's good. So what are we looking like then? 37% for Bohm, 40 for Varsho. I mean, that's something. Oh, and actually, hang on. Now with arbitrations not getting offered, there's some new options here, like JJ Bleday, Jake McCarthy. I don't think he was there. No. I think I'm just going to go ahead and renew our guys. Teal would be the one that might be interesting. Well, actually, interestingly, if we offered him a longer term deal, like 10 years, he's only going up to wanting 8.3 mil a year. He just had a 6-WAR season. So actually a $6.6 million AAV at 8 years would still have him in the green interest. Dude, I actually kind of think this might be worth it to offer him this. He was so good. If he produces near that level for these 8 years, this is gonna be an insanely team-friendly contract. You know, let me just bump it up one more to an even 53 mil. I'm gonna put in this offer. I mean, there's no guarantee he accepts it, but yeah, I'm offering a deal like that. All right, everyone else I did just renew besides these three because I can save a little money probably when I remove Josh Bro from the 40-man, and then these two, they'd be getting paid, you know, over 600K, and I don't think that's worth it, so I might just non-tender those two. All right, so on we go. We gotta wait till another week, I guess. Oh, and all right, the Orioles sign Kevin Gossman. We got a second alert here. Diamondbacks sign Chris Bubich. All right, then this actually should be an interesting free agent day too, because a bunch of non-tendered guys are going to be there, and sometimes there's some hidden gems. And here we go. This could be a hidden gem actually. Christian Encarnacion. Shouldn't he also have a strand at the end of that? But he got non-tendered with 2 years of service time. He's a B potential, and he is 27, but he's also 27. He still has time to get that the ratings up. Maybe not quite realize the full potential, but like, I mean, we're still somewhat kind of looking for the future of first base. I don't see a reason not to offer him. I don't know. I feel like an opportunity like this, you don't not sign the guy. So I'm just gonna offer him this. Okay, he doesn't want he wants a longer contract. Okay, well, that's what I don't know then. Again, he's a 68 overall. Like there's a chance that he's usable, and I still also assume then he would have 2 more years of arbitration after this. Did I offer him this? Oh, okay, I guess not, because now I did and I got him. I'm fine with that. I feel like that makes sense. So I guess that's our first free agent signing of the year, but we've given ourselves some options at first base. There could be more hidden gems, and actually Encarnacion wasn't even the type of hidden gem I was talking about, so I still want to go through and look at these. Okay, this is the kind of hidden gem I was talking about. This dude Braylon Payne is only 20 years old, which, you know, see potential. That could only mean 70 overall. It's not to say that this is like really a hidden gem, diamond in the rough kind of guy, but like, look at what he is at his baseline. Already an above average, approaching elite defender in center field with his fielding and speed. So it's like we can essentially get this guy for free, see what he can develop into potentially at 20 years old. Literally no reason not to do that. All right, but yeah, anyways, nothing really we can do then this week. We got to sim one more week. All right, no last chances. We can put in some offers. I think I might put in an offer on both Bohm and Morejon. I'm gonna put this in though. We're gonna do it. 5 years, 15.12 mil a year. It's not automatic a decision's going to be made here, but hopefully we also get, or wait, no, because he's not a top 25. I was going to say hopefully we get that boost for being the first one making a competitive offer, but I think that's only with the top 25. So maybe we get that here if I make an offer to Morejon, because I think I'm going to do that too, and I want to bump his years up to 5 also. I am going to knock the money down though. I'm going to keep it that even coin flip, and then we'll get that extra 5% boost for him being a top 25 guy. But I think think we're gonna have the Rule 5 draft actually before that kicks in. So maybe a pitcher, if there's a solid pitcher around Anthony K's overall, and then I could take him and then try and move K. Obviously, if there's a solid reliever, we could do that too, because we still got some spots. All right, let's get to it then, and we'll see if a decision pops up then also over the course of this week. Maybe at the winter meetings. Oh, yeah, okay. And, well, yep, all right. Look at the money. I think there's something going on where when you put in an offer, it does force their hand. Not every time, but a lot of times it might force their hand to signing with a different team. He signed for one less year and over $1 million less per year. For why? Okay, actually, this is a thing too. The draft lottery. We've got the 7th best odds, 5.5% at landing the #1 overall pick for the 2nd straight year. I'd love a bit of luck here. At least bump me up a little bit. I don't fully know how the draft lottery works. It's not going to show anything. I think it just pops up and we actually dropped a spot. Nice. All right, well then are we going to get a decision from, well, Morahone? This is probably it. Don't show me the phone. I hate this. I genuinely hate this. Oh, never mind. Okay. I jumped the gun a little there. I thought the phone meant he was going to sign with a different team. All right, that's fine then. We're still in on Morahone. We've lost everything else we're trying to go for, but we're still in on Morahone. All right, I guess we can go to the Rule 5 draft from this screen, so why not? All right, who's available? Yariel Rodriguez. I feel like that's not bad as a reliever. 71 overall, B potential, 30 years old also for him. So like he's not going to get too much better. Yeah, looking through, there's not a position player that's tempting, but honestly, I don't see a reason not to take Yariel Rodriguez. I feel like at his overall right now, he could have a spot in our bullpen, or would have a spot in our bullpen actually, because there's only 4 dudes plus Sir Anthony, so 5 dudes that are over a 70. So yeah, I don't see why not. And then we should still have control over him for a while. He's got 2 years of service time. B potential. I mean, Sir Anthony was like 31, I think, this last season. He went up 5 overall at a B potential. So I'm going to make a Rule 5 pick. Yariel Rodriguez. You're coming to the south side. And I don't think any of our guys got picked. At least nobody that I recognized as it was simming real fast. Nope. Looks like we're good. Oh, well, I don't think it showed me this. Yariel's getting paid $8 million a year. All right, I might just let him revert. I don't know. Well, I mean, okay, we don't need to let him revert right away, because what if he's solid? What if he's actually worth that $8 million a year? Unlikely, but unless we need to free up the budget, may as well hold on to him for now. All right, then let's get on to this next free agent day. All right, so then actually Morahone got plus 7% because he got that 5% boost up to 55. Looks like he's got 7% here. Varsho, now I could offer him a deal. Man, I just don't know. The only thing for me about Varsho is like, I know we've spent a couple weeks looking at him, but it's like, do we really need what he brings to the table? Well, maybe now that we have an extra spot, I'll throw Randy on there, at least see where he's at. But yeah, I'm gonna put in another offer for Morahone. I'm gonna do slightly more money. We'll go, or no, I'm gonna do the same because he's got more interest, so maybe that extra motivation makes this contract fine. I mean, that's kind of another thing that, if that is the case, is bad about this whole system, because that doesn't make sense. Send a guy a contract. Nah, I'm good. Send it to him the next week. Okay. All right, now let's just sim, I guess. I also like, okay, that's another frustrating thing. I haven't got a single trade offer to me. Maybe whoever's on my block is just unappealing to people, which I guess that makes sense. But you don't need to offer for people on my block. Why have we gone an entire, I mean, like half an off season almost so far, and I have nobody's contacted me about anything. Okay, we're not hearing anything from, oh, now we're hearing something from Morahone. I know now not to automatically be disappointed with the phone. Okay. Nope, he signed. Okay. Is it impossible to sign free agents? Like, how are you supposed to do this? Genuinely, how are you supposed to do this? All right, Randy's 65% interested, so he likes the idea of coming to Chicago. And we still have a lot of money. I could go after a Trevor Rogers. No, nothing's telling me I can't go after like a Trevor Rogers. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna put Trevor Rogers on there and let's see where he's at. And then actually, would it make sense just to drop Varsho off if I'm kind of not really feeling him anymore? Get as much motivation as we can for these other dudes. dudes. And I'm also not gonna put in an offer to Randy yet, just because I don't want to incentivize him to sign with the Twins, division rival, because he's talking to them too. So we'll just let a last chance opportunity pop up if it's gonna pop up. Also, man, I know it's not a lefty like Morejon, but the Padres also have Estrada on the trade block. They traded Miller. They lost Morejon. Now they're trying to trade Estrada. He's gone up to an A potential. He had 95 strikeouts in 69 2/3. You would have 3 years of arbitration is 3 ARB years for me, 3 years of team control. What are they looking for? Prospects, young MLB, starting pitcher, left field, first base. I mean, how interested are you in Riley Gowins? I mean, like left field, I got this dude James Dunning, who they did list as the 72 overall prospect in the top 100, even though he's only a 46 overall. I kind of wouldn't care to get rid of him. It'd be a very long time before he factors into anything. Maybe let's just try that for now. Maybe, like, is there anybody else worth like getting rid of? Well, Hicks. Would they want to take on the Hicks money? I'm gonna offer that. That's just too funny not to. Like, imagine if they do that. All right, let's see if they counter with anything. Oh, they did counter. Okay, they didn't want Hicks. We would have gotten him for James Dunning straight up. They just don't want to take on the Hicks money. I mean, I will do this, man. If they're actually like offering me this, all it takes is me to hit accept. It just feels like a no-brainer to me. This is 3 years of control of Jeremiah Estrada. Also, getting Jeremiah Estrada could open the door for trading Sir Anthony Dominguez. Probably not now, but maybe at the deadline, depending on where we're at. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna accept this. Let's do it. James Dunning, Jeremiah Estrada. I don't see any reason to like move anything else around. I don't know why all of a sudden it's saying I'm a big seller. Maybe that's because I dropped into long shots, which I also don't really know how, because we have, I feel like, improved the major league roster significantly. But we'll be improving it even more with this one. James Dunning was like a complete random pick, if I remember right. I think he was late in the draft. So flipping him straight up for a pitcher like Jeremiah Estrada, that's very good, because you needed me to tell you that, obviously. It wasn't readily apparent. Okay, I was also interested in this, how this would work, since Estrada's an arbitration guy. Apparently arbitration's already been offered, and it was offered at 4.63 mil. Oh, I've been at this for a very long time, and I'm just thinking how miserable editing it's gonna be. I can never do things like this in a timely fashion. I always think way too hard, but hopefully that's gonna show. Hopefully that's not for nothing. Oh, there's the trade going through. Wow, that goes through as a blockbuster. I get the confetti. Now or never, of course. Thanks, Randy. All right, I was already thinking about giving him a third year, because he's 32, so 32, 33, 34. Just get him to this baseline 70%, 4.28 mil over 3 years. I don't know. Should I bump it up more? I'll give him 15. 73% motivation, Randy. Come through for me here. 3 years, 45 million. Look at the offer. Look at what he signed for. This might be the worst implementation of free agency in any video game. This is terrible. So it's like, what, $17 million less? He just left $17 million on the table to play for the Reds instead of for me. I don't know what I'm going to do about the outfield now, dude. I added Nathan Lucas right away, and then I haven't been able to fill this last spot. Are we back to Varsho? Do I even want Varsho? I mean, I really don't know, man. Let's just sim to the next free agency, and we might just have to cheap team this last spot on the roster. I don't know. I mean, we've still got a chance at Trevor Rogers, maybe? 32%. So does that actually mean he was only at 23%? So he was less interested than Shane Bieber when I checked back in on him. Is this even worth it? Is this even worth leaving on? Like, what? Okay, so Alex Call. Maybe this is where we gotta set our sights. 4.5 mil a year is what he's asking for. He's 32. He's pretty solid against lefties. He's a solid fielder. He can play the corners. He hardly played last year. I feel like JJ McCarthy's not bad either. 73 overall, lots of speed, solid fielder and left, decent-ish contact. You know, I'm gonna leave Rogers on there because, like, maybe I've been so unlucky so far. Maybe I'm like due for some luck, but then I'll put Call and McCarthy on there, at least gauge their interest for now. But yeah, we'll just do that. I don't really think there's any like trades to make. Flaherty goes to the Tigers in division. Yep, now or never for Rogers. All right, well, you know what? I'm gonna bump the years up from 4 to 6, and I'm gonna take the money as far down as I can go. And we're just gonna see. Like I said, maybe I've been so unlucky so far that I'm due for some luck. So I'm gonna try and cash in on that. Put in an offer to try and get him as cheap as possible and lock him up for 6 years instead of just 4. And if for whatever reason he accepts this, that would be the largest contract in White Sox history. So we could be making history here, Trevor. No, okay, the phone. I don't know why, for like some reason, I actually let my hopes get up a little bit. Oh, and the Tigers signed Nico Horner. Back-to-back days signing top free agents. Our division's gonna be getting fun. But hey, I might get Alex Call. Yeah, they're both pretty interested. I also suppose I don't have to give up on a starter. I mean, Bieber's still there to try. Bieber's up to 29%, maybe. I'll do the same thing. I'll put him in the 1 spot. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna be simming here. Simming until the next free agent thing happens. Well, Marcell Ozuna's apparently I mean, that would solve the DH thing. He's kind of plug and play. He actually improved, so it's not guaranteed that he'd regress. I mean, that's not awful, because he's also just a line of code in this, not an actual person with a history. And he was good last year. 27 bombs, 840 OPS. I mean, I don't really have a spot on my big board, but I know he's interested. Or I could just offer him a contract from here. Should I do that? What if I knock the money way down? He's still 71%. I for 7.2 mil, yeah. Let's offer a contract to Marcell Ozuna there. And then I'm still just going to keep coasting with these two dudes. Yeah, I don't know. The only reason I'm keeping Shane Bieber, I mean, first of all, if I would have just left Shane Bieber on from the start, didn't give up on him when his interest was so low, if I like didn't offer him anything and just let him sit on here, he'd be ready to sign by now. But I'm also kind of just keeping him on here to make that same offer or same type of offer I made to Trevor Rogers and just see if I get lucky. But again, I think we're just kind of at the point where we're simming here. Obviously, like, we missed out on some big name guys that we wanted, but like if we get these dudes, if Ozuna signs, he does, okay, that's a decent bat. And then if I can get these other two guys, we will probably have a team that we can reasonably hang around a 500 level with. And that was the goal. Still the same thing. We're still waiting on anybody to have a last chance and then signing these two dudes like once they get to a point where they're good to go. So we sim another week. Still no last chance. I mean, Bieber's interest now is going to be getting to a point. But yep, Bieber's up to 47% now, and then Colin McCarthy still steadily increasing. I mean, McCarthy, I probably could just put in an offer for at this point, and then it would help these two get a little bit faster. Maybe I'll do that. I'll give him a 3rd year if he signs for 5 a year. Let's try this. Motivation drops to 80. Hopefully this doesn't, persuade him to sign with a different team. And then if he signs, Colin Bieber would get a boost because you get more motivation with the less people that are on the board. Arbitration's going to be coming up though after this next week. Decision from McCarthy. He signs, so let's go ahead and add him. I guess he's the same overall as Baldwin, but the whole point of Baldwin is I want him to be a utility guy because he can play anywhere. Still no last chance offer for Bieber. Is this actually going to become a possibility here? His demand just went way down. I don't have a problem signing him more long term, so that actually might be really good for me. All right, we got arbitration hearings now to get through to see how much money we're paying people. How off was I? So this first day is Pepio and Tyler Gilbert. They sided with me for Pepio. Okay, all right. Okay, well, and now they sided with Gilbert in this one. Day 2 is going to be Clark Schmidt and Estrada. I'm very interested in Schmidt because that was the one that I majorly lowballed. I think it estimated like 13 mil. I only offered him like 5.5. They sided with me. I might know ball. I might know what I'm doing a little bit out here. And that's going to make him even more of an attractive trade piece because he's getting paid less. And apparently we got sided with for Estrada too, even though that wasn't my number even. Day 3 is just Jimmy Herget. I don't remember what I offered Herget. Oh, we got a trade. Nick Pivetta to the Tigers. Man, the Tigers are kind of loading up all of a sudden. They sided with Herget for 4.5 mil. So I'm like 0 for on the relievers, but I'm like very intuitive with the starters. And then the final day here is just Vargas, I think I remember I offered him only 1 million. So this is going to be interesting because he was bad. Okay, they sided with Vargas. So maybe it's only starting pitchers that I know anything about. Still going to let this ride. I mean, this is week 15 of 16, so I can pull the trigger next week. Well, actually, hang on. Does Bieber have... He is a top 25, so like I'd get that motivation boost if I was the first one to offer him a deal. Would that be worth it to try and offer him a deal now? Because now we're at the point where this is realistic, and I don't know if I want to just like tank the offer. I'll just stick to the plan. I'll sim this next week. I'll let whatever happen. And we got a now or never for Bieber, and we lost the 5%. All right, it might have been worth it. It might have been worth it if I did put in an offer. I'm just gonna try that. I'm gonna bump it up to 4 years, but then lower the money all the way down almost to 20 mil. So the motivation does go down slightly. So let's stamp this. Let's send it. Let's see what Shane Bieber is gonna do. Let me see that pen. Come on. Nope, it's the phone. Oh, you just had to give me one more disappointment in the offseason, didn't you? And the Padres, they were trading everybody away. All right, last chance to offer contracts. It just popped up and said. So now it says motivation maxed. Maybe that's just because this is the final week, but we'll offer to call 1 year. We'll just leave the money where it's at. 89% you would hope would get the job done. So let's just see if Alex Call is going to sign. Also, can't forget about Teal. You know what? I'll probably just sim a couple more days and then just renew him. Okay, we've got the decision coming in for Call. He signs. So all the lower tier guys that I decided to settle for, they all wanted to come to the south side. I'm just going to finish things up. Renew Teal. Kind of too bad he didn't want to accept that offer because that would have been very nice, very team friendly. But I think there we go. I think our team is set. I don't think there's anything else that I need to do before heading into the next season. Obviously, I'm going to wait to like set the roster and stuff until we get through spring training. But yeah, I think we're good. And we are in spring training, which finally brings this episode to a close. We enter spring training at the 22nd rank. Pitching is 14th, though. Speed is 6th. Contact power 17th. So we definitely improved. It also, that's not like the actual rankings for the active big league roster. I think this is the active rankings factoring in everybody that's on the spring training roster. So the entire 40-man. Definitely disappointed that we didn't get some of the guys I was going after, but we also did make some really good moves. Like, I feel like all the trades I made were almost no-brainers. Like, I didn't really give up anybody that I cared too much about. It's not like I traded away a Bonham or somebody like that. But we brought in Aaron Ashby. We brought in Jeremiah Estrada. We brought in Ryan Pepio. So we definitely had some really solid upgrades to the pitching. And then the offense, obviously, very much settled for like the 5th and 6th option, if even. But Alex Call, Jake McCarthy are solid players. Nathan Lucas was another solid pickup from a trade. Marcel will be a solid bat for this season. And he's the kind of guy that, like, you never know if we do good as a team, he could be playing a big part in that. But that is where this is going to end. This is going to be a nightmare to edit. I hope it didn't come out to be like over an hour long. But this is what we're doing now. This is where we are. Full control White Sox franchise. We're on a new playlist now. We've got a new episode count, but it's the same team. So for now, guys, if you made it all the way to the end here, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you're somehow not subscribed to the channel after you just watched all this, hit that subscribe button. But I will see you guys next time for opening day.